The emergency beacon screamed across 17 wavelengths simultaneously, and I knew we were heading towards something magnificently stupid. My name is Krell, and I serve as diplomatic attaché aboard the Galactic Confederation vessel Morning Tide. 23 cycles of service had taught me that distress signals from human colonies always meant paperwork that would haunt me for months. But regulations are regulations, even when they're inconvenient. Beacon origin confirmed, announced Pilot Vesh, her thermal pits flaring orange with irritation. Remote agricultural station, Kepler 442 system, single human settlement, population... Wait, that can't be right. I leaned over her console, my 4 hands gripping the edge. What's the reading? 1 life sign, juvenile. Approximately 5 standard years based on metabolic output. My stomach sacs clenched. Adults? None detected within a 50-kilometer radius. Captain Thren rumbled from his command pod, his carapace clicking thoughtfully. Could be a malfunction. Human equipment is notoriously unreliable. I wanted to agree. By all the moons of cracks, I wanted to agree. But I'd studied humans long enough to know that where children were involved, assumptions killed people, usually us. We're required to investigate, I said, already regretting my next words. I'll lead the away team. Thren's antennae swiveled toward me. Take Sergeant Mox and a full security detail. Humans have a disturbing tendency to bite when cornered, even the young ones. 20 minutes later, our shuttle broke through the planet's atmosphere. Kepler 442b stretched below us, a patchwork of golden grasslands and scattered forest clusters. The human settlement appeared as a modest arrangement of prefabricated structures, solar arrays glinting in the afternoon sun. No smoke, no obvious damage, no bodies. Somehow, that made it worse. We touched down near the main habitat dome. Sergeant Mox, a Gorvian battle-scarred veteran whose species considered subtlety a form of weakness, emerged first with his plasma rifle raised. His 3 eyes scanned in independent directions. "Clear," he grunted. "Too clear." He was right. The settlement felt wrong, empty in a way that suggested sudden abandonment rather than planned evacuation. Equipment sat idle. A meal, half-eaten, waited on an outdoor table, already claimed by local insects. The irrigation system continued its programmed cycle, watering crops that nobody would harvest. "Spread out," I ordered. "Look for survivors. Watch for environmental hazards." My translator picked up the child's voice before my natural hearing did. Humming, off-key and wandering, drifting from somewhere beyond the primary structures. I followed it, Mox falling into step behind me, his rifle tracking every shadow. We found her in what appeared to be a livestock enclosure. A human child, small even by their standards, with wild auburn hair tangled with bits of grass and dirt. She wore a dress that might have been blue once, now stained with mud and something darker. She sat cross-legged in the dirt, entirely focused on something in her lap. "Contact," Mox whispered into his comm. "One human juvenile, alive and playing." The child looked up at our approach, her round face splitting into a smile that revealed missing teeth. She waved enthusiastically. "Hi, are you aliens? You look funny." I activated my translation collar and knelt to her level, keeping my movements slow and non-threatening. "Hello, small human. My name is Krell. What's your name?" "Lily." She bounced slightly. "Lily May Torrance. I'm 5 3/4. "Hello, Lily May Torrance. Can you tell me where your parents are?" Her smile faltered for just a moment before returning, though something flickered in her eyes, something that made my blood run cold, despite the warm afternoon air. "They had to go away," she said simply. "But it's okay. Rex takes care of me." Mox and I exchanged glances. "Rex?" "Uh-huh. He's my best friend. He hunts for us and keeps the bad things away." She gestured vaguely toward the grasslands. "He's hunting right now, but he'll be back soon. You'll like him. He's really nice once you get to know him." My translator struggled with her enthusiasm. the pitch and speed of human child speech taxing its processors. Behind us, the rest of the team converged on our position. Possible domestic animal, I murmured to Mox. Dog, perhaps. Or one of those cat creatures humans inexplicably tolerate in their homes. Should we search for the parents? Asked Junior Officer Plim, her scales rippling nervously. Yes, quietly. Something drove them away. I turned back to Lily. Sweetheart, when did your parents leave? She scrunched her face, counting on her fingers. 3 sleeps ago? Or maybe 4? I lose track sometimes. 4 days. A human child, alone for 4 days. The fact that she was alive and apparently healthy defied probability to an almost offensive degree. Have you eaten? Oh yes, Rex brings food. He brought a whole, She paused, thinking. I don't know what it's called. It looked like a deer but with weird horns. And yesterday he got some of those bird things with the really long necks. Mox's grip tightened on his rifle. The child is claiming an animal is hunting for her. Impossible, said Plim. No domestic animal could sustain a human child's nutritional needs through hunting alone. Maybe we should reserve judgment on what's impossible where humans are concerned, I muttered. A scan of the habitat revealed more questions than answers. Personal effects remained in place. No signs of struggle, but the settlement's communication array had been methodically destroyed, and the emergency beacon buried under 3 meters of deliberately moved earth. Someone had worked hard to ensure no distress signal escaped. Until now. Krell! Mox called from near the perimeter. You need to see this. I joined him at the fence line. Beyond it, the grass had been trampled in wide swaths. Blood, dried to black in the sun, painted the ground in irregular patterns. Dozens of tracks, most of them belonging to large predators native to this region, crisscrossed the area. And in the center of the carnage, a single, small human footprint. This doesn't make sense, Plim whispered. Those are Tark beast tracks, pack hunters, apex predators. They should have torn through this settlement like tissue paper. Should have, Mox agreed. But something stopped them. Something killed them. I counted at least 17 corpses in various states of decomposition, all dragged into a rough pile. Some showed signs of having been partially butchered. My medical knowledge was limited, but even I could see that whatever killed them had done so efficiently and with considerable violence. Rex? I asked quietly. Unless Rex is short for something very different from a pet, Mox said. I'm thinking we need to evacuate that child immediately. We returned to find Lily exactly where we'd left her, now singing something about twinkle stars. She looked up happily as we approached. Lily, I said gently, we need you to come with us. We have a ship and food and people who can take care of you until we find your family. Her expression transformed instantly. The smile vanished, replaced by something that made my secondary heart skip a beat. It wasn't anger exactly. It was too calm for that. Too knowing. No, she said simply. I can't leave Rex. He'd be sad. We can come back for Rex, I lied. Or we can bring him too if he's small enough. He's not small. She stood up, brushing dirt from her dress. And he doesn't like new people very much. He barely likes me, and I've known him forever. A sound reached us then. Low, throaty, aggressive. It came from the grasslands beyond the fence, from somewhere we couldn't see. Every member of my team immediately drew weapons. Everyone remained calm, I ordered, though my own hands trembled slightly. Lily, by contrast, lit up like a solar flare. Rex, you're back! She ran toward the fence line. Mox moved to intercept her, but I grabbed his arm. Something in my gut, that primal recognition of a predator's approach, told me that sudden movements would be catastrophic. The creature that emerged from the grass defied easy categorization. Roughly 1.5 meters long, low to the ground, built like violence wrapped in fur and bad decisions. Its coat alternated between black and white in patterns that seemed designed to confuse the eye. Small eyes, too intelligent for comfort, fixed on us with undisguised hostility. By the void, Plim breathed. What is that thing? My database search returned results almost immediately. Mellivora capensis. Common name, honey badger, native to Earth. Classification lists them as, oh no. Oh no, Mox demanded. What does oh no mean? It means they're famous. Notorious even. Described in human databases as fearless to the point of suicidal stupidity, aggressive beyond all reason, and possessing pain tolerance that borders on the supernatural. And one is caring for a human child. Apparently, the honey badger, this Rex creature, dragged something behind it. Something large, recently killed, leaving a trail of fresh blood across the dirt. It pulled its prize directly to Lily's feet and dropped it with a heavy thud. A Tark beast, fully grown, throat torn out, still warm. Lily clapped her hands together. Good boy, Rex, that's a big one. The creature made a sound, something between a grunt and a cough, then turned its attention to us. Its lips pulled back, revealing teeth that seemed disproportionately large for its body. Nobody move, I said quietly. Weapons down, slowly. Sir, Mox protested. That's not a suggestion, Sergeant. That creature just dragged something 3 times its weight across rough terrain and dropped it at a child's feet. It's not hunting for sport, it's providing. Lily walked over to Rex, completely fearless, and patted his broad head. The honey badger tolerated this with obvious annoyance, but didn't snap or pull away. She whispered something to it, too quiet for my translator to catch, then looked back at us. Rex wants to know if you're here to take me away. The creature's eyes hadn't left us. It positioned itself between Lily and our team, every line of its compact body radiating threat. We're here to help, I said carefully. Lily, your parents are gone. You can't stay here alone. I'm not alone, she corrected. I have Rex. He came when the bad things started happening. He kept them away. The Tark beasts? She nodded seriously. They came at night, lots of them. They were so hungry. Mommy and Daddy tried to make them leave, but there were too many. They told me to hide, so I did. I hid in the cold room under the kitchen, just like they taught me. Her voice remained steady, matter of fact, as if describing a routine event, but her hands twisted in her dress fabric, betraying the trauma beneath. When I came out, everyone was gone. There was blood everywhere. I was so scared. She looked down at Rex. Then Rex showed up. He was fighting 3 Tark beasts all by himself. He killed them all. Then he looked at me and made this funny sound, like he was asking if I was okay. And I knew he'd protect me. I'd spent 23 cycles in diplomatic service. I'd negotiated trade agreements between species who communicated through bioluminescent pulses. I'd mediated territorial disputes involving beings who perceived time non-linearly. But this, a human child and an Earth creature forming a survival bond on an alien world, left me completely unprepared. Sir, Plim said softly, protocol requires we bring all survivors aboard. I'm aware of protocol, Junior Officer. That thing won't let us near her. Also true. Rex watched us with the intensity of something that had fought for territory and had no intention of surrendering it. His muscles remained coiled, ready to explode into violence at the slightest provocation. I've studied human animals extensively. It's part of my job, understanding the creatures they bring with them across the stars. Honey badgers have a reputation, one earned through countless encounters with predators that should, by all logical reasoning, have killed them easily. They fight lions. They raid beehives despite being stung thousands of times. They've been documented taking bites from venomous snakes, enduring the toxins, then eating the snake anyway. They're called the most fearless animal on Earth for a reason, and Earth, I'd learned, produces animals that treat survival as a competitive sport. Lily, I tried again. We can't leave you here. It's not safe. It's safer than you think. She smiled again, that too-adult expression that suggested she'd aged years in just days. Rex is really good at keeping things away, And I know how to do stuff now. I can work the water maker, and I know which plants are okay to eat. And Rex teaches me about hunting. Teaches you? Mox asked. How does an animal teach? He shows me. She gestured enthusiastically. Like, yesterday, he caught one of those hopping things, but he didn't kill it right away. He let it go and then caught it again, over and over. Then he looked at me, like he wanted me to try. I didn't catch it, but I learned how it moves. That's... Plim searched for words. That's sophisticated behavior, instructional, protective. That's a human child being adopted by one of Earth's most aggressively territorial animals, I corrected. This situation is unprecedented. Rex made another sound, longer this time, ending in something that almost sounded like a question. Lily tilted her head, listening, then nodded. Rex says you need to leave now. He's being polite because I asked him to be, but he doesn't like having this many strangers around. It makes him nervous, and when Rex gets nervous, things get bitey. Bitey, Mox repeated flatly. Very bitey, Lily confirmed with complete seriousness. I made a decision, possibly the worst of my career. Team, fall back to the shuttle. Maintain visual contact, but give them space. Sir, Plim protested, we can't leave a child with a wild animal. That wild animal has kept her alive for 4 days in an environment that killed her entire settlement. It's hunting for her, protecting her, teaching her. I looked at Rex, meeting those small, fierce eyes. Right now, that honey badger is the only reason Lily Mae Torrance is still breathing. We retreated to the shuttle, but I kept surveillance active. Through our cameras, I watched Lily work with shocking competence to butcher the Tark beast. Rex supervised, occasionally nudging her hands to correct her technique. She talked to him constantly, maintaining a running commentary on everything she did. This is going to generate so much documentation, Mox said miserably. I'm aware. The council will demand explanations. I'm aware. They'll probably demote you for abandoning a child. Sergeant, I'm aware. I reviewed the footage again, watching Rex drag predator corpses 3 times his size, watching him position himself between Lily and any potential threat, watching him wait patiently while she practiced making fire, only intervening when she got too close to the flames. Captain Thren's voice crackled over the comm. Status report, Attaché Krell. Complicated, sir. The child is alive and healthy, but there's a situation. What kind of situation? The kind that's going to make us question everything we thought we knew about Earth species and their capacity for interspecies cooperation. A pause. I'm going to need more than that. I tried to formulate an explanation that wouldn't sound completely insane. Failed. Sir, have you ever heard of a honey badger? Can't say I have. You're about to become intimately familiar with them. I watched Lily feed strips of meat to Rex, who accepted them with surprising gentleness given his capacity for violence. And, sir, you might want to contact the human embassy. We're going to need specialists, possibly lawyers. Definitely someone with experience in unusual custody arrangements. As the sun set over Kepler 442b, Lily and Rex retreated into the habitat dome together. Through our sensors, I tracked them settling into what appeared to be a nest of blankets and pillows. The child curled against the honey badger, who arranged himself to provide maximum warmth and protection. Somewhere in the darkness beyond our lights, something howled. A predator, searching for easy prey. Rex's ears swiveled toward the sound. His body tensed. The howling stopped abruptly, as if whatever made it suddenly remembered pressing engagements elsewhere. Remarkable, Plim whispered. Terrifying, Mox countered. Both, I decided. Definitely both. I began composing my report, knowing full well that nobody would believe it without extensive video evidence. A human child and a honey badger, surviving together on an alien world, having formed a bond that transcended species, logic, and every regulation in the Confederation handbook. Somewhere, somehow, the universe was laughing at me. Tomorrow, I'd need to convince Lily to come aboard, to accept our help, to trust that we could keep her safe better than a creature famous for fighting venomous snakes and raiding beehives for fun. I did not feel optimistic about my chances. Outside, Rex made one last patrol of the perimeter before returning to his charge. In the morning, we'd try again. We'd use every diplomatic tool, every psychological technique, every ounce of patience we'd cultivated. But tonight, watching that small, fierce creature guard his sleeping human, I couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't dealing with a rescue situation at all. We were negotiating with something far more complex, territory held by a guardian who'd proven willing to face down apex predators and win. The universe, I reflected, had a sense of humor as vicious as any honey badger. Morning arrived with screaming. Not the child, the predators. I bolted upright in my sleep pod, tangled in monitoring cables, as our proximity alarms shrieked across all frequencies. Mox was already moving, plasma rifle charged and ready before his eyes had fully opened. "Report!" I shouted into the comm. Plim's voice crackled back, high and strained. "Multiple contacts, closing fast on the habitat. Tark Beast pack, maybe 20 individuals. They're coordinating. This is a planned assault." Through the shuttle's viewport, dawn painted the grasslands in shades of amber and gold. Beautiful, except for the wave of muscle and teeth surging toward the settlement. The Tark beasts moved with terrifying purpose, their pack formation suggesting intelligence I hadn't credited them with. "They're after Lily," Mox said, already heading for the exit ramp. "They can smell human. Easy prey." "Nobody move." I grabbed his shoulder. "We go charging in there. We become part of the problem. Rex knows we're here. If he wanted our help, he'd signal somehow." "That's a child, sir. With a badger. Against 20 apex predators. That's a child with Earth's most notoriously aggressive mammal, who's already killed 17 of these things." Even as I said it, I wasn't sure if I believed my own logic. "Give them 60 seconds. If Rex can't handle it, we intervene." The habitat dome's door slid open. Rex emerged alone, walking with that distinctive rolling gait that somehow suggested both casualness and barely contained violence. He positioned himself 40 meters from the structure, directly in the path of the approaching pack. 1 honey badger, 20 Tark beasts. "This is suicide," Plim whispered. The pack leader, a scarred male easily 3 times Rex's size, slowed as it approached. Its packmates fanned out, attempting to flank the smaller creature. Standard predator tactics: surround, overwhelm, feast. Rex didn't move, just stood there, low to the ground, watching them come. "He's waiting," Mox said with grudging respect, "making them commit to the approach. That's tactical thinking." The pack leader lunged first, jaws spread wide enough to swallow Rex whole. What happened next occurred so fast that I had to review our sensor footage later to understand the sequence. Rex dropped flat, letting the Tark beast's momentum carry it overhead. As it passed, he twisted upward, claws and teeth finding the soft tissue of its belly. The Tark beast's scream cut off abruptly as Rex found something vital. The creature crashed to the ground, already dying, but the pack had already committed. They came from all sides simultaneously, and Rex met them with a fury that defied physical laws. He became a blur of black and white, appearing beneath one Tark beast's guard, then somehow beside another, then behind a third. Each contact left blood and screaming. He didn't fight with elegance or technique. He fought like violence itself, all teeth and claws, an absolute refusal to acknowledge pain or fear or basic survival instinct. A Tark beast managed to clamp jaws around his shoulder. Rex responded by twisting in a way that should have been anatomically impossible and tearing out the predator's throat from inside its own mouth. Another caught his hindquarters with raking claws. He barely seemed to notice, launching himself at a third attacker's face with such speed that the impact sounded like a thunderclap. "What are we watching?" Plim asked, her voice barely audible. "Evolution's mistake," I said quietly. "A creature that should have been deleted from the gene pool for being too stupid to live, Except it turned out that refusing to acknowledge you can die is a surprisingly effective survival strategy. The pack, already reduced by a third, finally demonstrated intelligence. They broke, scattered, fled back into the grasslands with Rex in pursuit, running down the slowest members with mechanical efficiency. When he finally trotted back to the habitat, his fur was matted with blood, most of it not his own. He left a trail of corpses behind him, arranged in a rough perimeter that would serve as warning to anything else with predatory ideas. Lily appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes. She looked at the carnage, looked at Rex, and smiled. "Good morning. Did you have fun?" Rex made a sound that might have been affirmation, walked past her into the habitat, and presumably collapsed somewhere inside. I counted the bodies through our scopes. 14 confirmed kills. The survivors wouldn't be forgetting this lesson. "I'm filing a report," Mock said slowly, "and nobody is going to believe a single word of it. File it anyway. Include full video documentation. Label it urgent and send it directly to the Human Embassy with a request for immediate specialist assistance." I checked my chronometer. "And prepare a proper landing craft. We need to make contact again, but this time with offerings." Offerings? Food, medical supplies, respect. I thought about Rex's tactical approach to the fight, the way he deliberately positioned himself to draw the pack away from Lily. We're not dealing with a simple animal. We're negotiating with a guardian who's proven he can and will defend his territory with lethal force. 2 hours later, we approached the habitat again, this time laden with supplies. I'd raided our entire food stores for items compatible with human juvenile dietary requirements. Fresh water, medical scanners, even some entertainment modules, though I had no idea what 5-year-old humans found entertaining. Lily met us at the fence line, still in her stained blue dress, hair an absolute catastrophe. She looked remarkably unconcerned for someone who'd just survived a dawn assault by pack hunters. "Hi again. Did you bring snacks?" I knelt, keeping my movements slow and obvious. Behind me, my team maintained careful distance. "We brought lots of things: food, water, medical supplies. May we come in?" She considered this with a seriousness that reminded me she'd been making life or death decisions for days. "Rex is sleeping. He worked really hard this morning. If you're quiet, I guess it's okay." We entered slowly, weapons conspicuously holstered. The habitat's interior surprised me with its tidiness. Lily had organized supplies, created a sleeping area, even attempted to maintain basic hygiene despite limited resources. A 5-year-old human, demonstrating competence that would shame adults of several Confederation species. "Where did you learn all this?" I asked, gesturing to her setup. "Mommy and Daddy taught me lots of stuff. They said settlers need to be ready for anything." Her voice remained steady, but I caught the tremor underneath. "They were always teaching me things. How to find water, which plants are safe, how to signal for help. They said I was really smart for my age." They were right. I began unpacking the supplies. "Lily, we need to talk about what happens next. I know what you're going to say. You want me to leave with you." She sat down cross-legged, picking at a loose thread on her dress. "But I can't. Rex needs me now." "Rex needs you?" "Uh-huh. He got hurt this morning. Not bad, but I need to clean his cuts so they don't get infected. He lets me do it because he trusts me." She looked up, her eyes older than they should have been. "If I leave, he'll think I abandoned him. And then he'll leave too. And then this place won't have anyone to protect it." "Lily, there's nobody here to protect anymore." "There's the memory." Her words came out whisper soft. "This is where I lived with Mommy and Daddy, where we had dinner every night and they taught me constellation names and we played games. If I leave, if everyone leaves, it's like saying what happened to them doesn't matter." My throat tightened. I'd prepared for stubbornness, for fear, even for violence from her unusual guardian. I hadn't prepared for grief wrapped in 5-year-old logic. "Their memory matters wherever you are," I said gently. "You carry it with you." But Rex doesn't understand leaving. Animals don't think like that. If I go on your ship, he'll think I'm gone forever, and he'll be alone again. She looked toward the sleeping area where Rex presumably recovered. He was alone before he found me. I could tell. The way he acted at first, like he didn't know what to do with someone being nice to him. I think he's been alone a really long time. Plim made a small sound. When I glanced back, her scales had shifted to colors indicating deep emotional distress. "Sir, this is breaking my heart." "Mine too, junior officer, mine too." I spent the next hour simply sitting with Lily, helping her organize supplies, listening to her stories about her parents. She talked about her father's terrible jokes and her mother's singing voice, about learning to read using agricultural reports because they'd forgotten to pack children's books, about the day they'd spotted their first native wildlife, and her mother had cried from joy at seeing something so alien and beautiful. Rex emerged eventually, moving stiffly, fresh wounds visible through his fur. He regarded us with obvious suspicion but tolerated our presence. Lily immediately began fussing over him, cleaning his injuries with water and salvaged medical supplies. The honey badger submitted to this with terrible patience, occasionally making sounds that suggested annoyance but never pulling away. "See?" Lily said, applying an antiseptic patch to a particularly nasty gash. "He trusts me. We're a team now." I watched their interaction, the child's careful ministrations and the creature's grudging acceptance, and felt something shift in my understanding. This wasn't a girl being protected by an animal. This was a partnership, forged in survival and sealed in mutual dependence. "Krell," Mox called from outside. "We have incoming. Human vessel, fast approach." I stepped out to see a sleek diplomatic cruiser dropping through the atmosphere, human design, bearing embassy markings. They'd responded faster than I'd anticipated. The ship landed with practiced precision. Its ramp descended, revealing a human woman in official attire, accompanied by what appeared to be a xenobiologist and several support staff. She approached with the confident stride of someone accustomed to complicated situations. "Attaché Krell, I'm Ambassador Patricia Walsh. I received your report about the Torrent situation." She extended a hand in the human greeting gesture, which I awkwardly reciprocated. "I need to see the child immediately." "She's inside, with her guardian." "Guardian?" Walsh's eyebrow rose. "Your report mentioned a honey badger, but I assumed that was some kind of translation error." I wish it had been. We entered together. Walsh stopped dead when she saw Lily carefully bandaging Rex's paw while humming tunelessly. The honey badger tolerated this ministration with the long-suffering expression of someone who'd fought better battles. "Sweet merciful," Walsh breathed. "That's actually a honey badger. Mellivora capensis," confirmed her xenobiologist. A thin man whose name tag read, Dr. Marcus Fenn. Adult male, approximately 8 kilograms. Indigenous to Earth. They shouldn't even be on this planet. "Hi," Lily waved without interrupting her work. "Are you more aliens? This is Rex. He's shy." Walsh knelt slowly, her expression a mixture of wonder and professional concern. "Hello, Lily. My name's Patricia. I'm from Earth, like you. I'm here to help." "That's nice, but I'm okay. Rex takes good care of me." "I can see that." Walsh's voice carried genuine warmth. "Rex is a very good guardian. But sweetie, you can't stay here alone. It's not safe, and you need people to take care of you. I have Rex." "I know, but Rex is—" Walsh paused, clearly searching for the right words. "Rex is wonderful, but you need human contact too. School, friends, family." "My family is gone." Lily's hand stilled on Rex's paw. The honey badger's head swiveled toward her, alert to the change in her emotional state. "The bad things took them away. But Rex stopped the bad things from taking me too." Dr. Fenn circled slowly, studying Rex with professional fascination. "This is unprecedented. Honey badgers are solitary, territorial, notoriously aggressive. They don't adopt. They don't protect other species. They certainly don't hunt for them. And yet, I said quietly, here we are. Rex finished with Lily's ministrations and moved to position himself between her and the newcomers. Not aggressive, but clearly establishing boundaries. His message couldn't have been clearer if he'd spoken standard. This far, no further. Ambassador Walsh sat back on her heels. I've handled dozens of custody cases involving Earth animals and colonial children. Dogs, cats, even a case involving a particularly intelligent parrot. But this, she looked at me. Your report said he killed 14 Tark beasts this morning. We have full video documentation. I need to see it. We reviewed the footage on my portable display. Walsh watched in silence, her expression transitioning from skepticism to shock to something approaching awe. When the video ended, she sat quietly for a long moment. That thing just fought off a coordinated pack assault from apex predators 3 times his size, she said finally. He used tactics, strategy. He deliberately drew them away from the habitat, created killing grounds, exploited their pack mentality against them. She looked at Rex with new appreciation. This isn't just protective instinct. This is intelligent defense. So what do we do? Plim asked. We can't leave her here, but we also can't separate them, not without traumatizing both of them. Dr. Fenn cleared his throat. There is a precedent, albeit unusual. Colonial Regulation 47B allows for the recognition of interspecies guardianship in cases where traditional human custody is unavailable, and the alternative caretaker has demonstrated capacity for protection and provision. You're suggesting we legally recognize a honey badger as her guardian? Mox said incredulously. I'm suggesting we acknowledge reality. That creature has kept her alive in conditions that killed multiple adults. He hunts, he defends, he even appears to be teaching her survival skills. By any practical measure, he's functioning as her primary caretaker. Ambassador Walsh nodded slowly. It's insane. The paperwork alone will be catastrophic. But, she looked at Lily, now curled against Rex's side, both of them watching us warily. What's the alternative? Force her onto a ship and let that honey badger die defending an empty habitat? Place her with strangers while she grieves losing the only being that's kept her safe? We could bring them both aboard, I suggested. Provide proper medical care, food, safety. Have you ever tried to confine a honey badger? Dr. Fenn asked. They're escape artists. They've been documented breaking out of zoo enclosures designed to hold apex predators. They can climb, dig, chew through chain-link fence, and they hold grudges. Put that animal in a cage, even a comfortable one, and he'll either escape or die trying. Then what do you propose? Walsh stood, decision crystallizing in her expression. We establish a permanent outpost here. Rotate human personnel to provide Lily with education, socialization, medical care. But we let her stay, with Rex, in the place that's become their home. That's a massive resource commitment for one child, Plim objected. That child survived 4 days alone on an alien world because an Earth creature decided she was worth protecting. Walsh's voice carried steel. We failed her. Our screening missed the Tark beast migration patterns. Our security protocols failed. Her parents paid with their lives. The least we can do is honor the fact that something impossible saved her and find a way to let them both heal. I looked at Lily, who'd been listening with that too serious expression. What do you think? Would you like people to come visit? Teachers who could help you learn? Doctors to make sure you and Rex stay healthy? She considered this carefully. Could they bring books? Real ones with pictures? Lots of books. And could Rex still go hunting? He likes hunting. It makes him happy. We wouldn't stop him. And I could stay here? In my house? Where I remember Mommy and Daddy. My throat tightened again. Yes, you could stay home. She looked up at Rex, who looked back with those small, fierce eyes. Some communication passed between them, too subtle for my sensors to capture. Then she smiled, genuine this time. Okay, But you have to promise not to bother Rex too much. He gets grumpy when there are too many people around." "We promise," Walsh said solemnly. Over the following hours, we established the framework for what would become the most unusual custody arrangement in Confederation history. A permanent human presence, rotating personnel, dedicated resources, all to support one child and her impossibly fierce guardian. As the sun set on our second day, I found myself sitting outside the habitat with Ambassador Walsh, watching Lily teach Rex what appeared to be a clapping game. The honey badger participated with obvious reluctance, occasionally making sounds that suggested he questioned his life choices. "This is going to be a nightmare to explain to the council," I said. "Probably, but it's also going to be an incredible story." Walsh smiled. The child and the honey badger, surviving together on an alien world, defying every expectation and regulation. There's something beautiful in that. There's something terrifying in it too, if that creature decided we were threats. But he didn't, because Lily told him we were okay. He trusts her judgment. Walsh stood, brushing dust from her uniform. That's the real miracle here. Not that a honey badger protected a child. That they learned to trust each other. Before we departed for the night, Lily ran over to hug my lower legs, which was apparently a human child affection gesture. Rex watched this but didn't intervene. "Thank you for letting me stay," she said into my knee. "And thank you for bringing snacks. The cookies were really good." "You're welcome, small human." She pulled back, looking up with eyes that had seen too much but somehow maintained hope. "Will you come visit sometimes? You're funny looking, but I like you." "I will visit," I promised, "to make sure you're eating properly and that Rex isn't teaching you too many bad habits." Rex made a sound that I chose to interpret as offended dignity. As our shuttle lifted off, I watched the habitat grow smaller below us. Lily and Rex stood in the doorway, the child waving enthusiastically while the honey badger simply watched. Sentinel and ward, guardian and protected. Partnership forged in the worst circumstances, enduring through sheer stubborn refusal to acknowledge impossibility. "Sir," Plim asked quietly, "do you think she'll be okay?" I thought about Rex fighting off 20 predators at dawn, about Lily's careful organization of her supplies, about the way they'd curled together to sleep, each drawing comfort from the other's presence. "Yes," I said, "I think she'll be more than okay. She'll be extraordinary." 3 months later, I returned for my first official inspection. The outpost had grown, a small human staff rotating through to provide education and companionship. Lily had gained weight, looked healthier, smiled more often. She showed me her reading progress with pride, a stack of books beside her sleeping area. Rex had established a perimeter 200 meters around the habitat. Nothing with predatory intentions crossed it. The Tark beast population in the region had declined substantially, survivors having learned that this particular territory belonged to something small, vicious, and absolutely uninterested in negotiation. "How are your lessons going?" I asked over tea, another human custom I'd learned. "Good. Miss Jennifer is teaching me about Earth history, and Mr. Takeshi is showing me mathematics." She paused, considering. "Though Rex teaches me important stuff too." "Such as?" "Like how to tell when something is watching you, and which direction the wind is blowing, and how to be really, really still when you need to hide." She leaned in conspiratorially. "And how to look bigger than you are when something tries to scare you. That's a really good trick." "I imagine it is." Rex appeared then, dropping something at Lily's feet. Not prey this time, but some kind of plant root, carefully excavated. "Oh, the nutritious ones." Lily picked it up happily. "Thank you, Rex. See, he's learning which plants I can eat. He brings me vegetables now, not just meat." I filed my report that evening, concluding that both subjects were thriving under current arrangements. I attached video of Lily reading to Rex, who tolerated story time with the same patience he showed for wound cleaning. I included behavioral analysis showing Rex's expansion of territory and his evolving understanding of human needs. The council approved continued funding without debate. Nobody wanted to be the bureaucrat who voted against the girl and the honey badger. 5 years later, I attended Lily's 10th birthday celebration. She'd grown tall for her age, confident, healthy, educated. She spoke 3 languages fluently and could identify every native species within 50 kilometers. She wanted to become a xenobiologist, specifically studying interspecies relationships. Rex had grayed around his muzzle but remained formidable. The settlement had expanded carefully, respecting his territory, and he'd grudgingly accepted certain humans into his tolerance circle. Children, especially. He had infinite patience for human juveniles, perhaps recognizing something of Lily in each of them. "Did you ever think it would work?" Ambassador Walsh asked me during the party, watching Lily demonstrate climbing techniques to younger children while Rex supervised from a sunny spot. "Honestly, no. I thought we'd be lucky to get her off planet before something went wrong. Instead, we got a case study in adaptive survival, interspecies cooperation, and the stubborn refusal of both humans and honey badgers to acknowledge reasonable limitations. Earth produces remarkable creatures." "Yes," Walsh agreed, watching Lily and Rex with obvious affection. "Yes, it does." As I prepared to depart, Lily hugged me goodbye, now tall enough to reach my waist. Rex, for the first time in 5 years, approached me directly. He looked up with those eyes that had seen so much violence, survived so many impossible fights, and chose to protect rather than destroy. Then he made a sound, soft and brief, and turned away. He said, "Thank you," Lily translated, "for letting us stay together." "Tell him he's welcome," I managed around the sudden tightness in my throat. "And tell him he's done a remarkable job." Flying away that evening, I reflected on the strange paths that brought us to unexpected places. I'd come expecting a simple rescue. Instead, I'd witnessed something unprecedented. Proof that bonds could form across species, planets, and probability itself when circumstances demanded survival and hearts demanded companionship. Somewhere below, a girl and a honey badger settled in for another evening together, reading books and planning tomorrow's adventures, partners in the most unlikely friendship the galaxy had ever documented. And somewhere in the Confederation archives, my reports would stand as testament to a simple truth. Sometimes the most fearsome guardians come in the smallest packages, and sometimes family is whatever refuses to let you face darkness alone. They thought the child was alone. They were catastrophically wrong, and the galaxy was better for it.